Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of My Fiber Fun. Well, this must be special because I brought out the microphone for this one, so I hope it works, and I hope I'm not too loud with it. Actually, I forgot that I had the microphone, y'all. It was buried underneath junk, okay? So I finally found it, and I said, well, let me go on and put that on today so that I can be heard clearly. Now, to get this started, first of all, we have to go through the preliminaries. Okay, preliminary number one, there is an adjustment in the amount that the man stuck it to me by. First of all, I went to my car today because I needed to back it up. My driveway holds 5 cars, so I had pulled all the way up to the back so that my sister and niece could drive their cars in on yesterday. And so I backed my car back out so that it can be seen on the street because I am in an urban area, and although it has always been safe and quiet over here, it's still an urban area. So if your car is not in view, somebody might decide to come in. So therefore, I had to move it. Okay, but while I was moving the car, I saw a whole cluster of receipts on the floor because y'all know I haven't cleaned my car in months. And amongst those receipts, I found a little crumpled up receipt, and it was actually from Joann. So I was like, uh-oh, I made 17 trips, not 16, and I have to make an adjustment to the final amount. Well, thank God, this is one I broke even on. I spent, where's the glasses? Okay, hold on, y'all. Dang, just got things straightened up, and now I gotta, okay. On this receipt, I won't say what I bought. It was yarn. It was that Caron Simply Soft Party Black Sparkle yarn. I bought 4 of those, and then I also bought 2 glow yarns. So I must have bought 2 extra at some point. And this was on the 7th of May. And that day I spent, for those 6 skeins of yarn at 50% off each, I spent after taxes. And I meant to mention yesterday, those final tallies, my savings were before taxes, my spendings were after taxes. So technically, I should have been separating the 6% sales tax because it is listed on the receipt. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put you on pause, and I'm going to do that because I might have won. I just might have won if not for the sales tax. That just dawned on me. But anyway, on this particular receipt, before we get to that, because I am going to pause you, and I'm going to do a retally real quick because all I have to do is subtract the taxes from what from the total cost of what was spent. I'll separate the taxes. Okay, now on this one, my taxes were $1.08, and I spent total $19.52, but the subtotal altogether was $18.44. So my total was $19.52, but I saved $18.50. So there you have it. So technically 6 cents I would have broke even. So basically I only spent 6 cents less than what my savings were. So oh yeah, we're getting ready to do this. Give me a few minutes, you guys. Oh, it might be a change of events here. Woohoo! I'll be back. And you know what? Let me rev it down while I'm on pause, okay? I'm going to rev it down, I promise. Because this video is going to be too long for me to be acting silly, okay? I shall return. Okay, y'all, I am back. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do another part. First of all, I'm sitting up here amongst the horde, and I don't know what I did with my receipts. I know that I either put them in I'm thinking probably in my crochet bag. I'm not sure. I know I kept the receipts because I do not plan on getting rid of them, but I could not put my hands right on them, and it was going to take too long for me to try to find those receipts and then do the math because I've got to have the receipts to do the math because I will need to look at how much the sales tax was total on each purchase, and then I would have to subtract the sales tax from the final amount. First, I'll add all the sales taxes, come up with my final number for the sales tax on every purchase, and then after that, I would need to subtract the sales tax from my total amount spent, which is going to take me up. I think I got to do this, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm putting you back on pause. I've got to do this because I believe that I got them. I think I did it. Okay, I'll be back. Technically, I didn't do it because of the sales tax spent, but overall, I could say that I saved more than what I was charged. We'll put it that way. Okay, be right back. Good news, good news. I just found the receipts. I put them in this, and this is one of my Joann artifacts that I never showed y'all. Bought this at Joann probably about 10 years ago, and this is where I keep some of my stuff. Okay, let me do my tally. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. 10 minutes later. I just crunched the numbers, you guys, and although since the contest was done and it was done minus the taxes, actually how I got the idea, I never even thought about the taxes. Never once. I thought about the taxes. Wait a minute, where's my microphone? Behind my ear. Okay, I wanted to get that straight. I didn't think about the taxes until I saw the comment from Kay Tomlin, who was the first place winner. She decided out of curiosity to do her final tally because she kept her receipts as well. And she wrote the numbers and stuff and whatnot. She even had the percentages, okay? Now that you know my numbers and all that, what's my percentage? Okay, but anyway, I never thought about the taxes. Not once. So technically, I should have, but since I didn't, I'll just let it roll the way that it's rolling, okay? But you guys, had I counted for the taxes spent, my total tax number that I spent for taxes, which made me spend a total, remember, let's go over the number. The liquidation store, a total was spent $1,692.12, and that is include those glasses, Lord, and that's including taxes. So I'll keep saying that. Okay, so the liquidation store, my savings were $855.59. That is not including taxes. That's all percentages based on 20%, 40%, so on and so forth. The total amount that I saved after taxes, after taxes, was $836.53. So technically, I lost. And I lost by an amount of, my new amount, I said 1906, but because I found this extra receipt, on that one, I have to add $1.06. And that's because, not $1.06. I have to add, I saved $18.50. I spent $19.52. So yeah, $1.06. But technically, if I subtracted that, I would have broke even. But I went on and added that $1.06 to, and what's with the 6, okay? But I went on and added that $1.06 to the 1906, which gave me a total of, hold on. Okay, wait a minute. 1906 plus $1.06. That gave me a total of $20.12. So I lost by a total of $20.12. Still not bad. And I still stuck it to the man. Now, on to the next number. My tax total of every receipt, including this new one, that $1.06, I added that to it. My total taxes for those 17 trips came out to $37.15. Did I add it? Hold on, y'all. Let me add this. Okay, I didn't add it. Oh, yes, I did. I added it. Okay, so if I were including taxes, I would have stuck it to the man. That adding that $37.15 to $836.53 would have put me over the top at $873.68. So let's subtract it. 873.68 take away 855.59. Okay, cross the 6, carry the cross the 6, that turns to a 5. 18 take away 9 is 9. 5 take away 5 is 0. Okay, cross, carry the 7. Okay, 13 take away 5 is 8. 6 take away 5 is 1. I technically should have, I stuck it to the man before taxes by $18.09. Okay, so that's announcement number 1, okay? Or announcement number 2 after I found the receipt. So had I added the taxes or had I subtracted the taxes, I would have beat. And last night's video would have been totally different. But even still, it was so doggone close. It would have changed the winnership. And I'm sorry, y'all, but it's done, okay? Yep, so I'm sorry about that. I must apologize because I think others might have won. So I don't know. I really don't know because I haven't really tallied. But I mean, it was still close. I think we would have wound up with the same winners. We just would have wound up because the winners that I did choose, those last 3, actually had me as the winner, and then they were so close in the amount, it might have moved them up 1 or something like that, more than likely, but it would have still been the same set of winners, the same 5, because everybody else were just, like I said, in the next stratosphere as far as savings and all that. Okay, so that's done. Okay, the next announcement number, is it 2 or 3? One or the other. Okay, I still need to hear from the rest of my winners. So far, I've heard from 3. Our top winner chose the glow yarn. So the glow yarn that's done. Our second place winner, Debbie, she chose the wax. Dawn responded, and Dawn, I need your contact information so that I can send you getting a chicken, girl. I picked it for you because you said it didn't matter. So with your bubbly personality, you get the Yarn Chicken Champion, and you'll be seeing that in a minute. You'll see what it looks like in case you've never seen one. Okay, so what's up for grabs? We still have, I did hear from you, Just Fluffy, but you didn't specify what you wanted, and you didn't send me your contact information. I need that too. And then I forgot, let's see, who's the 5th winner here? Hold on, just a second. I wrote it down. Now I gotta find it. Okay, our 5th winner is, okay, that was Just Fluffy. Our 4th winner, we got, Deborah, because we got Kay, Debbie, Deborah, Dawn, and Just Fluffy. Okay, so Deborah, I need your information as well. So you'll either get a yarn chicken. I mean, no, you will either get what's left is a yarn chicken and a wax. So that's what's left. Okay, so just let me know what you want, because Debbie, you were number 4, and Just Fluffy was number 5. So whichever one you choose, so one of you will get a yarn chicken and the other one of you will get a wax. Okay, that's the second preliminary. And our last preliminary is this. I finished the bag, y'all, and I finished it last night. This is made from the Noro Asujinu yarn. And I decided, and I told you I was working on the market bag. I decided to use the full ball of it. I double stranded it because I actually had 4 total, but I mean, I had 2 total, and I double stranded it. And so the bag came out pretty big. I chained 52 across, and I did, instead of going in the round diamond mesh, I went in the square diamond mesh, and I really like how it came out. And I used all of the yarn. I barely beat the yarn chicken. And then I bordered it with the black and made the strap black. Okay, so I just started on, and I'll be working on this today. I'll probably finish it. It's tangled up here. Hold on, y'all. Golly, it's around everything. Hold on, give me a minute. My cane, it just fell up against me. I have the cane and the walker, y'all. If I have to go a short distance, I use the cane. Long distance, the walker. Okay, so I just started the one in the lime green, and I will also border it with the black. So it'll be, I guess, matching market bags is a set, and then the only similarity will be the yarn and the border color. And I think it's gonna come out nice. I really like this one. I really like it. It's stretchy, and remember that Assagineu is 40% linen, 40% paper, and it's considered Japanese paper, and 20% polyamide for strength. And it's not soft, it's hard, but it's stretchy, it's strong, and it's going to make for a good market bag, beach bag, or whatever. This is how it looks with something in it. So you can see how it stretches. So it's going to make for a good catch-all bag. I'm going to use it for a market bag, but I may decide I don't go to the beach, but I might decide to use it for something else. For instance, if I'm carrying a shawl, this Noro shawl right here would work nicely in it. So that type of thing. So anyway, I'm just going to call it a bag, the bag. Okay, so I think that's the preliminaries. I'm hoping that it is. If I'm forgetting something, charge it to my head, not my heart, y'all. Okay, let's get going here. Now, I need this book. Hold on. Okay, this is how we're going to do this so that this video won't be so long. First of all, I have a set of categories that I wrote down. So I will tell you the category when I get to those. When I get to the purchase, I decided that I was not going, because I've got all this hoard around me. Instead of me trying to organize things, I'm just going to be pulling one thing at a time, and then I'll tell you what category it falls under, instead of saying, here's this category here, here's that category there. It would take too long. Now, I do have all my embroidery stuff in one container. So we're going to start with that, because that is one category, and everything in that container is from that category. So that'll be easy enough. But everything else is just here, there, and everywhere. So when I get to the purchase, I will say, okay, this falls under and here are the categories. Distribution, that's the one I forgot last night when I said, when they had the rummage with the paper towels and toilet paper and the mask I bought and the sanitizer, they had it listed on the receipt as distribution items. And so we're going to do, that's a category, distribution. The second category is embroidery. We have the book category, the yarn category, the miscellaneous, and most stuff are going to fall under the miscellaneous category. The crochet category, which would mean crochet hooks, knitting needles, stitch markers, that type of thing. Storage category, which would be, baskets and any type of storage container. Then we have the big ticket category, and last but not least, the lighting category. So y'all already know what that is. So I'll just tell you what category it falls under when we get to that item. So I'm going to put you on pause real quick. In fact, this is the last time I'm going to announce a pause. You'll know when I'm pausing because you'll see that click, click. So every time I get to not every time I get to another category, but if I have to pause, I will, because there will be times where I'll need to get to, I'll need to put things away so that I don't go over it twice. And then I will need to pull the next thing out. So I may just hit the pause button while I'm doing that so you won't have to see all that. And it'll keep the video short because we're already 20 minutes and we haven't even started yet. But y'all claim y'all like my videos, so y'all get to see the homemade face for a little while today. Okay, I shall return. Okay, our first category is short and sweet. This falls under the kids category. Remember my little great nephew? And all this came from the distribution table. Okay, so we'll just do distribution category. First of all, you all know that I purchased 2 of these sanitizing hand wipes, and they were $5 a piece. I paid a total of $10 for these. And you know what? I don't think I'm gonna go over prices, but every now and then you may hear me mention a price just in case, because you might be wondering or whatever. Okay, so the first distribution item were the hand sanitizing wipes. And then I bought, they had 2 of these on the table, the disposable face masks, and although you see the number 28 on there, it's 28 masks in the box. And because I'm about to go on the immune suppressant, although I have cloth masks that I purchased on clearance from a Goodwill store, they're Hanes. They were made by Hanes. So I guess they took their you know, with the underwear and t-shirts and stuff, I guess they took their scrap material or whatever, and they started producing masks during the pandemic. And so packs and packs wound up at my local Goodwill, and they were still in the package, you know, sealed, just like a t-shirt would be or a pair of underwear, and they were masks. And I got those masks for $1. The bin was full, and I decided to buy $20 worth. I said that would give me a lifetime supply of masks. So I still have them, and they're all cloth. But every now and then a paper mask will do, especially, for instance, I have an MRI coming up. They're going to have to do an MRI of my spine and everything. And so, but he wants to start the medicine first. So when I get my MRI, the paper mask will work perfectly because I don't want to smother while I'm in that time capsule casket of an MRI machine. Okay, so that's what those are for whenever I don't need the cloth, but the paper will do. Okay, off the distribution, and although this falls in the category of toys, these are for my great nephew. As you know, I bought him this chalk for 25 cents. Or, no, this was 50 cents. And then the 25 cents were for the pencils. I bought him these pencils, the coloring pencils, and I better get this taped or something before I lose them all. And then I also bought him what's called a pan flute. And so, and this was early on. I bought this in White Lake at the beginning of the liquidation. They had these, and it was, I forget, it's for kids 3+. I forgot how much I paid for it, but it was real cheap. It was 20% off, and it was cheap to begin with, and I decided to buy it for my great nephew. So that was an early on gift for him. Okay, so let's tie this up. Oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be pausing you. Okay, next we're going to go over the items that I purchased before these were purchased the day before they made the announcement. And I did that because I said, oh, these are going to sell out quick, because at the time, although the announcement hadn't been made, I kind of figured that they were going to be announcing some closures, and if anybody was going to close, it was going to be that Bloomfield Hills location. So that's where I beelined it to that location, because they had the items. I called in advance, and when they told me they had the items that I wanted, I beelined it and got it the day before they even made any announcements. And I did correctly, because yes, they ended up on the chopping block that very next day. And then I had my items. And so what I purchased was, I purchased a yarn swift, and this was 40% off. And that was just when it was the regular Joann's. It was 40% off. The second thing I purchased was this yarn bowl. And this was 40% off. In fact, I have the receipt to it. And the third thing that I purchased, and then that was the end of that trip, I purchased 3 of these. And if you remember from a back video, first of all, coupons were still in effect. I had a 50% off coupon. I also had, and that was from a receipt from the past, but it was still good. I had a 50% off coupon, and then everything at the time, the storage, well, I think everything was like 40% off or something like that. They had put, no, 20%. They had put all storage at 20%, and this was before the announcement the next day. It was 30% because it was more. And then the next day when they announced the closures, then everything dropped to 20% off, everything in the store basically. But I got in when these were 30% off, plus I had a 50% off coupon. So one of these, I bought 3 total. One of these was 50% off and the other 2 were 20% off. And then they ended up combining a coupon. So 2 of them I got real cheap. One of them I ended up paying like $20 for. And the other ones, one was $20, one was $10, and then the last one, I forget how much it was. But anyway, I got 3 of these. Okay? This one's going to take a while. We're going to go on and cover the embroidery category. And this is a lot. This whole thing is full of what my main goal was when they first started. And I explained all that last night. We won't go through that again. And so the first part, this is going to fall into the book category, although that's a separate category. But the two in the book category, I bought this book. Oops, it's upside down. I'm sorry. The embroidery stitch handbook, I bought that. And remember, everything in the embroidery category was 20% off. Nothing was, until later. I got a few things later at like 50% off and 90% off, but we're just going to say early on embroidery category. I'm not going to go into the percentages and all that. And then I bought this book right here. And what's the title? 100 Essential Embroidery Stitches. And these will be put to good use because although I know basic embroidery, it's easy to follow, especially if you're doing stamp on or iron on. But I would like to freehand embroider. So that's where these books are going to come in handy because I said I'm going to buy up some t-shirts and do some embroidery on the t-shirt. Okay. I bought, these are kitchen towels that I plan to embroider for my kitchen. I bought one of those. And then I bought a flour sack towel. I haven't even opened this, so I don't know if it's like a kitchen towel or what. But it's called flour sack towel. And I will need to iron a transfer on each of these. And I have my transfers, so I'm going to get to that. I bought a set of pillowcases, and it ended up being a duplication because I already had a set of pillowcases from a couple of years back, I think 2018. So I have 2 sets, and these are not stamped, or are they? Nope. No, these are not stamped, so I can put a different pattern on each one. So that's good. So 2 sets of pillowcases that I will have for my bed. And I've done pillowcases and sheets before, so that's going to come in real handy. I might buy a flat sheet to embroider, a white flat sheet, and then I'll buy a white fitted sheet separately and then embroider the flat sheet and just do a full sheet set. I've done that before too. And they were real nice back when I had a full size, back when I was in my early 20s. And then I bought an apron. Okay. Then I got all these. And so a lot of these I paid different prices. So I'm not going to go through them. We'll just count them. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some are duplicates. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I bought 17 of these total. And the beauty about these Aunt Martha iron-on transfers, they sell them at Walmart, and they also, I believe I've seen them at Michael's before, so it's not as if I'll never be able to find these again. I'll just have to make sure I'm not buying duplicates if I see them elsewhere in the near future. But that's enough to last me for some years. Okay, although I put this with the embroidery stuff, this is miscellaneous. Remember, I wanted that sock repair thing. Once I found out what it was, someone told me, and I went back and I found it. I got the last one. So this is the sock repair thing, and I do have socks that need repairing. I always get holes in them. I also found in the sewing department, this was miscellaneous, but I saw it sitting there. It's a lint brush. And I've always wanted a nice lint brush. This is the kind, it has the top on it, but it has the velvet, and you can brush your lint, dog hair, whatever. And so I went on and bought that because that was something I needed. And so it came out in the miscellaneous category. I think that everything I purchased was something that I could use. I tried to keep it to where it wouldn't be something silly that I could not use. And the only thing that turned out being silly, and this belongs in this category too, is this adhesive remover, my fatal arrow. Oh, this is another. This is miscellaneous. I don't know why I put it in there, but this is actually going in my kitchen because I said I'm using this for batter, but it's a caster or caster mixing paddle for stirring up your glue and not glue, but pottery stuff. But I'm putting this in the kitchen because it's going to be used for mixing. I bought this Best Press starch. Could never find it again because I went looking for it again. So I have one, and I can always order this, or I can find this elsewhere. I'm quite sure Michael's probably sell it. Okay, I bought some, these are called needle pullers. This is going to come in handy because sometimes when you're sewing or when you're, especially with embroidery, every now and then you might get a knot or something in the middle and you need to get a good grip on that needle to get it pulled through. So this is going to come in handy for that. I did find this one package of embroidery thread holders. I was really looking tough for these, and I only found this one, and I'm glad that I purchased it. It'll work because remember, my mother's late best friend, I ended up inheriting so much embroidery thread, although she had wrapped most of it. In fact, she wrapped all of hers. It was all neat and nice. Remember when y'all saw that? But then mine, on the other hand, was everywhere, and I need a lot of these, and I know I can get more. I've seen them on eBay. You can buy them by the thousands, actually. They're called spools, actually, embroidery spools. Okay, and let me go on and put 2 of these to the side because they're going to winners. I have 1, 2, and we're going to put them in the thing, in the yarn thing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 10. Oh, wow. 11. Y'all, okay. Okay, so I ended up with 11. I said I ended up with 9 total. I didn't know there was some at the bottom of the thing. So I ended up with 11. I have 9 left. And these will last me for life. And you know, at the end, I got them for $1.15. Before, I was paying $3 for them. Okay, I also found a magnetic, what is this? Oh, I don't know what this is, but it's not something I bought. I'll just put this to the side. I found a magnetic glasses. It's a magnetic needle holder. I thought that was cute. I also found a needle case. Oh, and it's magnetic too. It's a magnetic needle case. So my embroidery needles will go in there. I found embroidery needles, and I'm getting towards the end, you guys. So I found some darning needles, and that's for crochet. In fact, I'm gonna drop it in the crochet pile right here, and some more embroidery needles. And that's all I was able to find, because I said as many embroidery needles that I can find, I will get. I already have one of these, and I use this for my darning needles, but I'm going to use this one for my embroidery needles. I found a seam ripper. I have a million seam rippers, but I bought this. I think this was like $1 or something, so I just grabbed it. And I bought 2 of these. And what these are, if your iron-on stamp is too light, or if you need to even draw something to embroider, you can use this, and it's invisible ink. So what happens is, after you draw it and you sew over it, it disappears, or when you wash it, it'll disappear. I've had these before and I loved them. And then I ended up getting some clip-on reading glasses I was figuring this would work for if I needed to crochet with black yarn or see the embroidery that I'm doing, that type of thing. So I bought these. And last but not least, this is I call it my cheater. It's actually an embroidery punch. So if I didn't feel like sewing myself, I can load this up and do my embroidery with this punch. This is actually probably never going to be used. It's just there. So let's say I go blind, or if I develop arthritis in my fingers and just can't, then I would pull this out. So I said this would be my emergency embroiderer if it's something I want to do or finish up and I can't do it because I broke a finger or something crazy. Okay, so let's get all this back in the box. So that was my embroidery haul, and I did that at the very beginning of the Joann liquidation store journey. I did not wait, with the exception of those waxes that at the end were there. No one had bought them. I just went on and grabbed them. But everything else was purchased before they even got into the good sales and whatnot, because these are things I wanted, and I wanted a lifetime supply, and I wanted to be able to get the things simply because they were there, because I knew they would sell out, and they did within a week. I think I made 3 trips total, and I think I landed some good things. So as you know, these are in the book category, and since I said book category, I may as well show the third book. This is the only other book that I purchased. Let me put this to the side real quick. This is the only other book that I purchased in the book category, and it is the Timeless Noro Crochet book. I got that for, I believe, 30% off, and that's what inspired this. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it while I'm wasting time. Here it is. This Afghan is what inspired me to make this Afghan right here. Okay. I still should have made it into a square, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. And I may buy some Noro yarn later and make one, in a square instead of the corner to corner, because I really like that. Okay, so that's my other book category, and I'm going to put this away with my crochet book, so I'm just going to set it here. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, we've moved on to the crochet and knitting category. And these are just, I put everything in this little bag. And I meant to tell you, I have so many Joann bags. I had already planned to make, I had planned to make a bag of, you can make bags out of plastic bag. You can crochet, you cut the bags into strips, and then you crochet them together to make a bag. I said I'm gonna make a plastic bag. I don't know what they're called, and I'm gonna use some of my Joann bags to do that. I'm gonna still save a few, just to have in my archives. But the rest of them, I'm gonna do that. And when I make my strip bag, I'm gonna use some of the Joann bags, to do that with. Okay, in the crochet knick-knack category, that's what I'm gonna call it. As you all know, I decided I want to learn how to knit, and someone told me to learn, what was that technique? Oh man, what's the name of it? They said to learn knitting. I forgot the technique, but someone told me, remind me for those of you who knit. They said it's the easiest way to learn how to knit. Golly, it's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I did take advantage of getting some knitting needles once they were 50% off. So I got this bigger pair. I got a size 6, and then I got a size 7 and a size 8. Oh no, a 10. So I bought 4 things of knitting needles just to get me started for when I decide I want to learn how to knit. We have a local yarn shop. Actually, it's right by my sister. My sister lives within a mile of it. And so me, although my sister is in Lake Orion, which is a different town, she's about 10 minutes away from me. And so I'm going to go to her local yarn shop because they offer classes and knitting classes and crochet classes. So I said I'm going to take advantage and start a knitting class. Oh, and I did forget something with the announcements, but let me finish this and then we'll do the announcement. Y'all not going to believe this. Okay. I also bought a zipper because I have that yarn that matches this, that, what's the name of that yarn? Shoot, I forgot the name, y'all. Ooh, Lord. And it's fiber. It is, you know what? I have brain fog. The MS has me with brain fog. I'm forgetting things. The 2 slabs of rib that we were doing for the barbecuing, I accidentally left a slab in the oven and they were in there for 24 hours. So I told my sister, unless we want to visit the stomach pump, they have to hit the garbage. I was so upset. I was so upset because that was my money that bought those ribs, and we couldn't eat them, had to toss them. So we ended up with just 1 slab of ribs yesterday, all because my brain fog from this MS attack caused me to forget. So I'm forgetting the name. Morocco. That's the name of the yarn. Morocco. Okay, so the Morocco yarn that I got is for that cardigan. And I'm going to be tackling that real soon after I finish these market bags. I believe that's going to be my next project, making my very first chunky cardigan. So y'all wish me luck on that. Okay, and then the darning needles, which will go into the crochet bag. Okay, I went on and bought the big twist. I call them the happy scissors. It's a keychain, but I'm going to hang this somewhere. I'm going to probably hang this in the greenhouse or hang it. It's not a keychain, it's a hanger. No, I'm not going to hang this in the greenhouse. I might hang this in the car. I don't know. But it's going to be hung somewhere. And I bought it just because. I did buy, and these were actually purchased before the announcing of the closure. I purchased these in Bloomfield, and I like the colorful colors of these stitch markers. I haven't even opened them yet. And the other 2 things I purchased too on that day were these. These are knitting and crochet gaugers. This one is for crochet, I believe. And then this one is for knitting and crochet, where you can measure to see the size of gauge your hooks and needles. So I bought these. I've never even used these before. And then when I saw Tony from TL Yarn Crafts use one, I was like, well, okay, if she used it, then since I admire her so, I was like, let me go on and get a couple. So I did it. Then, of course, I got the patches and stickers. Ooh, that's something I should have gave away in the giveaway. I wasn't thinking about that. Okay, let me get all the patches and stickers. I found this. This is a wait, I don't know what the heck this is. Hold on. Oh, I think it's a tape measure. No, it says needle minder. But why on the back it looks like a tape measure? So it says magnetically secures your fabric and holds your needle. Well, we're gonna find out when I open it later. I'm thinking it'll work for embroidery, but I have it in this bag. Then I bought some patches. This one says hooked on crochet. This one says be the change. And remember, I've been saying for the past few months that I'm going to buy some, I said I'm going to buy some new blue jeans or some new jeans, and I haven't done it yet, but I will put those patches on the new jeans. I bought this, which is a tail end threader. I said, oh, I need this for sure. I bought that. I did buy some knitting needle holders or whatever, or knitting stitch markers for knitting. I bought that. I figured, okay, I need that. This came from the distribution table. You remember this? I paid 50 cents for it. And it was actually, it says EDU on it, because I was like, what does this say on the other end? I didn't know what that meant. I thought maybe somebody had squiggled another design on it. But an alcohol will remove permanent markers, so I'm going to get that removed. I just hope I don't remove any of the paint, because I like the polka dots on here. But anyway, it is a tape measure, and they used it for classes when Joann used to have the classes. So that's why I had the EDU. So I bought that, and I'm happy that I did. Okay, and last but not least, in the crochet category, the yarn chickens. Wop wop. Okay, so we got one here. This is yours, Dawn. So this is what the Yarn Chicken Champion. It's a Yarn Chicken Champion button that you're supposed to wear whenever you beat the yarn chicken, or you can just wear it, But anyway, I love this thing. I just absolutely love it. So you can squawk along with me. So we're putting one there, and then there's still one up for grabs. Here's the other one that was up for grabs. Okay, so whoever chooses it, good luck. And then I have 3 left, which is fine. I'll have one to wear, and then I'm going to pin one to my crochet bag, because I have a Furls leather crochet bag. I'm going to pin one to that. And then I'll have 2 extras in case I lose one or whatever. And so they'll be in the thing. And then I also bought one Yarn Hermit pin. I did buy that. Okay, so that's it for the crochet items. Let me get them back in. This falls under miscellaneous. And of course I tied a knot in this. Remember, I went to look for those stamps because I'm going to be taking the ceramics class. And then I later found out that Michael sells the whole thing of the stamps real cheap. And I said for my June splurge, I would be going to Michael's to get that stitch soak scrub yarn, because those are the things I'm going to Michael's for. Is all I need that I have not bought, other than the yarn form. That's my one regret. The liquidation store had the yarn forms early on, but they were wanting $300 for them with 20% off, and I said, no way. Not when I know I can get not a yarn form, a body form on eBay. They had those exact same body forms on eBay for less than $50. So therefore, I will be ordering a body form. I might pay $1 million in shipping. It won't be that much. I'll just try to find one with free shipping or something like that, or a lower amount. You can control your shipping costs. I'll pay as much as maybe $10 for shipping. But anytime I can find one for under $50 on eBay, a body form, then you never know. Michael's may have one. I may find one at the Goodwill, that type of thing. So it's no rush. But then the other thing that I said I wanted to get were the stitch soak yarn, some DIY glow, if they have it in stock. Last I checked, they did have it in stock at the Michael's, which is 5 minutes from my home. So therefore, I'm going to get those stamps because this ceramics class, my sister was saying, starts in the fall, like in September. So I'm going to need my stamps. Okay, so, but I did find a few stamps at the liquidation store, and I bought them. They were all fairly cheap. I think I spent maybe $5 total when it was over and done with. So I have these. So I just have them. So here they are. So I'm going to put these, I'll probably just carry them in my crochet bag so I don't lose track. Or, you know what? I'm going to put these over on my fireplace. Nope, I'll lose them for sure. I'll just stick them here in the embroidery bag. And then when I get the ones from Michael in June, from Michael's, then I will put them all together. Okay, we will be winding down real soon here. Okay, we're getting ready to get to the miscellaneous because that's a lot, y'all. And then we'll get to the big ticket items, and then the big ticket, the yarn, and then we'll be done. Okay, as you all know, I bought 6 of these. I have 2 of the pink and then 4 of the green. I'm not going to pull them all out. From the distribution table, I bought 2 sets of beads. I bought these here and those there. These were $2. These were like 50 cents. Why they did that, I don't know. I bought some sequins, and all this was at the distribution table. Okay, so that's it for that. Who can forget the butt pillow? Yes, I'm glad that I bought this butt pillow because those things hurried up and sold out. And they did go down to $7.99. I paid $10 for this one. And so I will be using this starting now. So let's put the butt up. There it is. Okay. Next in miscellaneous. Oops. Okay, let's see. Next in miscellaneous, the fabric, the fatal error. Although it's no longer a fatal error now that I've found out that I actually did stick it to the man. Let's throw that right back over there. And I'm actually going to use that. I can use that for bags, my Quirky Q bags. I can also use it for the backing of an Afghan. I have that silk yarn that I haven't decided if I want to make a nice, I don't know if I want to make a nice shawl out of that silk yarn. It's a 100% mulberry silk. Or if I want to, it's enough in there, if I don't double strand it, I can make a nice thin lap blanket. And now that I'm having this MS attack and may find myself sitting on scooters and things like that more than I have been, I think it might work well for me to make a nice lap blanket, especially like if I'm in church or something like that. So I haven't decided yet. I'm holding on to that yarn for a minute. But that is the perfect match for putting a backing to it, just to add some weight to that. And I would do a straight single crochet for that. Something nice and textured, for a lap blanket if I decide to do that. I don't think I have enough shawls, so why? I mean, I've always wanted a nicer shawl with fiber. I can always buy some more fiber later for a nice shawl. And silk at that, because I'm only going to need, just so much for a shawl, not a whole bunch. Okay, so in the miscellaneous, the other item was this lunch bag, remember? And this is something I forgot that I had purchased, is this lunch bag. And it was supposed to be 7 pieces. And I think either my sister or somebody in the group told me that, because I was like, I'm only seeing like 5 pieces. Well, they count the tops, they count everything. So it did end up being 7 pieces. So this is it. Or was it 5 pieces? Hold on. Yep, 7 pieces. It says 7 pieces. But this is it. It's still real nice. I like it. And I can use this. You can wash it down, because it's like a vinyl type plastic. And I got this one real cheap, 50% off. I paid, I think, $10 for it, and it was regularly like 29 or something. So I went on and bought it just because. So that falls up under, miscellaneous. It has nothing to do with knitting, crocheting, or craft or anything. And then, so since we're in that category, and this is my semi big ticket item, remember the $49.99 can opener, okay, by Oster. So I bought this and I paid $14 for it. And another, okay, so that's it. Now we're going to the lighting category. We may as well keep going because I'm right here at it. And my little prizes are still in there. I'm moving that to the side. The lighting category. Now this is what surprised me. And this is a purchase that I did not know. I totally forgot. But I'm so glad that I got this. And I'm so glad that I found it. As you all know, I purchased, and I'm not going to be holding all this up because y'all have already seen it. But I did purchase the Ot Light. And then the other big ticket item, that counts as big ticket, that Ot Light. And the second big ticket item was the Rowenta steamer. And it's right here. Here it is right here. And it comes with the base and all that stuff. I'm just not going to lift that whole box because I'm having the MS flare. So I don't want to injure myself, Okay, but this is what I forgot that I had purchased. And it was actually in the embroidery box, but I decided I purchased a second Ot Light. Once I saw this, then I remembered purchasing this. I purchased this from White Lake during that week or the first 3 visits when I was buying the embroidery stuff. They had Ot Lights at the time. The Ot Lights, I think, were like 20 or 30% off. And this one it cost me $12. I paid $12.99 for this. And that's the reason why I got it. I was like, oh, that's a good price. And it's battery operated. You need 3 AAA batteries. And I said, this will work good. And this was prior to I hadn't even had the cataract surgery yet. And I thought, oh, since I'm going to need readers, I better get this because I might need it, which I do. And this one, it runs by 3 AAA batteries, but the magnifier works without batteries. But if you want the light to go with it, you have your light right there. And so it's not protected. And then you have a second magnifier right here that comes out, and then you can put it back in. This one does not light, but this one does. You could turn on the light so that you can see. So I'm gonna buy me some batteries, and this is going to be my travel magnifier. So let's say I go to the doctor or something, this will easily fit into my crochet bag. And then if I'm working on something black, and let's say I'm waiting in a waiting room or something like that, this can easily, it's so lightweight. So I'm glad that I got this, and I only paid, it was regularly $19.99, I believe, and I think I paid $12.99 for this early on. I purchased that. And like I said, I am so glad that I did. And then my other Ot Light, the big one that you just looked at again, that one will be the one that I will use here. It plugs in, and whenever I need it, I can use it. Okay, so I ended up with 2 Ot Lights, y'all. Slap me 5. Okay, and I think we're just about done. We still have the yarn category. Then we'll be done. Well, okay, we kept it. We're right at 58 minutes, but we're going to go over because I have that one announcement I haven't forgotten yet. And then the other thing that I wanted to speak about, oops, microphone just came off. Sorry, y'all. The other thing I wanted to speak about is, dang, I forgot already. Okay, we got the yarn category, the announcement, and then to wrap it up, we'll just say wrap it up. Hopefully, whatever I wanted to speak about comes back. Okay, so the other miscellaneouses that are out in the shed, my most wisest purchase, which was my number one goal, other than the embroidery stuff, was the tulle. All the tulle is now out in the greenhouse. Like I said, on yesterday, I gave my sister 1 bolt of it because they showed such kindness on yesterday by cleaning my home, cooking and all that, she and her daughter. And I also gave her a package of the wipes, the hand wipes. Okay, the other thing out in the greenhouse, my wind chimes, that was definitely miscellaneous. I decided to hang those in the greenhouse because I didn't want them to get weather beaten because they are glass. And so they look like a rainbow, and then they have all the rainbow colors. You all have seen that when I filmed out in the greenhouse. So those are hanging out there, and they will remain until winter. I just put a clip on them to hang them up on the pole. And then once winter gets ready to come, I'm going to bring them in like I do. I bring in all my wind chimes in the winter so that they don't get weather beaten and whatnot. Okay, so that's my miscellaneous that I have not that hasn't been shown and will not be shown. Okay, now our final category, and then we'll be done, is the yarn category. Now, as you all know, my goal was to never buy yarn. I said through this whole thing, I was like, y'all can have at it with the yarn, because I have such a yarn hoard. I think I have enough yarn that it will last me for some years, and you can always get your hands on yarn. And I was never a big twist fan, although I've bought it before, the cotton, but I wasn't into the big twist. And then, of course, Hirschner's bought the big twist patent and all that stuff, or whatever they bought, the rights to it or whatever. So big twist will still be available. But I was not on the big twist train, okay? By no means. No yarn, actually, because I said I can always get yarn from somewhere, if not online. I could do the fibers because I was making that transition anyway. But I said, if something comes up, I'll, consider it or whatever. But it wasn't a priority. Let's put it that way. But during that, I ended up getting some doggone, not only good deals, but I got some good yarn. So I ended up getting the cotton. Remember, I bought 2 of the red. And these were just cottons that were 60% off and sitting on the shelf, so I got them. And then I think I bought 2 of these pinks, either 2 or 1. So I just got these to get them. And one I've already used some of with that patriotic bag. I decided I wanted to make the safety shawl, so I did get 3 skeins of the big twist orange. And remember, it was $2 after, because they were 60% off. So I got these, and I am going to still make, in fact, I'm going to leave this out because I can start this safety shawl immediately, because I do want it for the fall of the year. The star of the show, and let me take one out for the prize, the glow yarn. So let me make sure that this is in good condition for K. Hold on. Okay. DIY glow. Okay. No dirt, no stains, nothing. Okay. Okay, here it is. And you know what? For every winner, I'm sending y'all my autograph. No, I'm not famous or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you, when I was on the show, Mystery Diagnosis, that I was telling you about, I was asked for my autograph a couple of times. So you all are going to get an autograph, okay? So here's the yarn, the DIY glow. Okay, so that is in with the prizes. And then I have the rest here, including what was left over from when I did the border around my patriotic shawl. So I have plenty. Yay! And I will be getting more. Okay, so this is right here. And that safety shawl, I'll probably border it, since I have that extra from the border from the patriotic shawl. For my safety shawl, I'll probably use the rest of that to border the safety shawl. This was a jackpot, the Kobu. I bought 8 of these. And remember, they were regularly $6.49. I believe I paid $2 each for the Kobu. Either 2 or they were 60% off. So whatever that adds up to. So I bought 8 of the denim. And I also bought 8 of the earth tone, I'm calling it. But let's see what the color is. Taupe, Taupe, taupe or top. And I like that. Look how it goes against my skin. Woo! Okay, so I bought 8 of these and 8 of those. Okay, I'm just setting them down here. And wait, now I got to take them all out because I put them at the top of... Oh, and I bought this basket. Remember, I was using the basket to carry on the very last day at the liquidation store. So the basket is one of my last purchases. I was using the basket because they didn't have any baskets in the store. And so I had that other basket, but I decided to buy the smaller one. I didn't want that big giant one. And this one will remain in my living room. And I'll use it for yarn that when I'm working on something, I'll just use it as a yarn basket so that the yarn ball or hank or whatever I'm using won't roll around. And I am going to line this. I was just looking at that fabric. No, I can line this with some plastic or something because it is wood, it's bamboo. Okay, I also bought 4 of these to carry on party. And as you all know, on that last day, I purchased, and that's what's at the bottom of the basket. I'm not going to pull them all out. I purchased 10 skeins of the KC cotton, essential cotton yarn, and in the color campground. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, I told you, trashy shawls, and I need to get going because the family reunion is the 4th of July. I'm almost certain that I will not be going because my recovery is going to take a while. And even once I'm feeling better with the medication and all, there's other trips planned within that trip. They're going to be going up to Mackinac Island, up north, because Muskegon, where we were supposed to be or where they're going to be, is further up north. So they had planned a trip to Mackinac, to the port. There's a port in I think Fruitport, Michigan or something, but there's a port somewhere. It's going to be a lot of, and although I have the scooter, I could take the scooter and ride the scooter on those trips. It's just going to be too much. And I want my sister and, nieces and all them to enjoy themselves. So I'm not going to go. I'll just stay home and I'll be okay. I don't have to go to every event. So this year I won't make it. Hopefully next year I will. And I did make it last year and I had a good time. Okay, so that's it, you guys. That is it. Now to that announcement. I looked on the Joann app today because I wanted to see if the app was still apping or whatever, or if it was still up. And so I said, let me pull up Auburn Hills and let me pull up White Lake because, Bloomfield Hills, when you pull up for your area, like to Make My Store, you could pull up for your area if you put in your zip code. So that's how I found out that Bloomfield had closed early. And then that's how I found out that Auburn Hills was still open and then that White Lakes was still open. So what happened was once White Lake closed, it showed as closed. Then, of course, Bloomfield shows as closed. Auburn Hills on today still showed as open. I was like, that's unusual. I was like, well, maybe they just haven't gotten around to saying that it's closed. So then it said, this is the last week closing on the 30th. And I'm like, wait a minute, they were supposed to close the 25th. So I was like, let me call. I guess everybody else called too, because when I called, because I'm thinking if they open, I'm not going, I'm done because I've done my final tally and I'm not adding or taking away. No way. I said, although I did, but I'm just saying I wasn't going. If they were still open, I was not going there for anything. I needed nothing. And so I was like, but out of curiosity, let me call. And I was like, I hope it ain't that same lady where I had to disguise my voice. So I dialed the number. Soon as it went ring, she picked up right away. We're closed. Click. I'm like, okay, they're closed. So a lot of people must have been calling to see if they were still open because that app says something totally different. So the app is still going, but once the app is null and void, I'll just delete the app from my phone. I'll take a picture of it, with the iPad just to have the picture of the app to remember it by. And then I'll just delete the app altogether and make room for something else. So I'm interested in finding out what's going to go there in that store, and we shall see. Okay, so that was the announcement. So Okay, so we're going to end it because we're at hour and 9 minutes. Actually, I did good because I thought this was going to be longer. So that was my haul from the liquidation store. So it's a lot, but it's not a lot. But it's enough to keep me going for the rest of my life. That was my goal. That's all I wanted. So I can embroider for the next I don't know how many years. I can crochet forevermore. That I know. And then also, I mean, there's something to keep me busy. I have items that I need. That steamer is going to come in handy. I'm going to put that to well use. And I'm going to use that as my iron, because it's going to really make my clothing, like jeans and things like that, look nicely. It's going to work for the embroidery. It's going to do my iron on transfers really nice. It's also going to steam my curtains. It's going to, just work for a lot of things. It's going to be my actual iron. Okay, the lights that has enabled me to be able to crochet with black yarn again. So I'm thankful for that. I realize I have the travel one. So that was a great surprise to find that because I had totally forgotten that I had purchased that. And then the safety shawl that I'll be making, I ended up with yarn that I didn't think I would end up with. The seed trays. I'm happy with every purchase that I made. There's no regrets, none whatsoever. Yes, I spent a lot of money, but for 4 months being $800, basically is like a $200 a month. There was a time where I used to spend that much a month on yarn and stuff, but then I scaled it back. I just started being more cautious about, my spending habits and whatnot. And like I was telling Just Fluffy in the response last night, I'm actually frugal. I shop at the Goodwill and things like that. And where I spend my most money, at one time it was the yarn, but now it's the gardening. I spend a lot of money with gardening, but I've even cut back on that some. So now what I will do is begin to save again so that I can be ready for the Little Knits Christmas sale. So I have about 6 months to go for that, and I'll splurge again. Like I said, I need that DIY glow and that other stuff from Michaels. I'll get that, and it doesn't have to be a lot. I might get 1 or 2 of each. Something. In fact, the DIY glow I don't even need. Now I can always get that online, but I do want that Stitch Soak scrub yarn. So I'll probably splurge with that, and I will get those stamps because I know that ceramics will be starting real soon, and I want to have everything that I want, and I want to see what they offer, the price, and all that. Okay, so that's it, you guys. I'm gonna get off of here because I've been on here long enough. Y'all probably fell asleep by now. But anyway, I will be back this week. I'll give you a break, and then I'll be back. I don't know if it'll be with the story time or upcoming projects. I'll come up with something. We're going to do a Q&A soon and all that stuff. So I'll be keeping you updated with that. Boy, I tell you, I feel lost without Joann's. And we're going to reinvent this because, first of all, with Michael's, We're Getting Closer. And then we also have, and I put it in a response, we have a store called Black Friday Every Day because we have an Amazon warehouse in my city where the Silverdome used to be. They built the Amazon warehouse after they imploded the Silverdome. So anyway, whenever they get an overload of items, we have these stores here, is 2 of them, called Black Friday Every Day. So people who have returned things to Amazon, and whenever they get overstocked, they sell these items real cheap at the Black Friday Everyday store. You get a huge discount of 50% or higher. I purchased my vacuum cleaner there for like $20. I also purchased a food sealer, the Super Saver food sealer. That thing was 200 and something at Myers, and Myers is your cheapest store. I paid, I think, $50 for that food saver, and it came with a lot of the extra wrap and stuff, because however someone sent it back and whatever they bought during that purchase, that's how it's boxed up at the Amazon, at the Black Friday Everyday store. That was my real big haul. My sister and I, we used to go there all the time. Then they closed it. But that's what happens. It'll open and it'll close. Once Amazon stocks up again, they'll open it again. Well, they just opened it again a few weeks ago. So I don't know if it's closed again or if it's still open, but we're going to be going there for sure. So that's going to be another spot. Then we have a Habitat for Humanity resale store. It's called Restore, Restore. Man, it's a Goodwill store. I don't go there that often because I lived far away from it, but now I'm only about 5 minutes from it. It's right on the way to White Lake, to the White Lake Joann's, but it's a lot closer. So that's another store we'll be visiting. The resale store for the Habitat for Humanity. That's a very nice store. Okay, so that's it, you guys. So, yep. So look forward to seeing me some more. You probably won't see the fishing videos unless I'm healed by the end of the season when I do my fall fishing. But in the meantime, a friend of mine, Robert, he's getting me fish and stuff because he knows that I'm down. So that's so nice of him. So, and I have quite a bit stocked up from when I did the fishing about a month ago. And then also Robert had brought me some fish back then, some crappie when they were spawning. So I have 2 bags of those. So I'll have my fish whether I get to catch them or not. But I wish that I could get out there to catch them. But you'll see me in the garden and different things. So, you know, although this chapter of Joann's is ending, we'll start a new chapter of something. And I'll still be my kooky self. So I'm rambling now. So let me get off of here. And remember, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. So I will talk to you guys later. And may God bless you all. It's time for a nap because I'm getting sleepy. Bye-bye.